Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. For today's video, I will be bringing back the long-awaited Cocoa Conversation series on my channel. If you are not familiar with this series, it is something that I used to do. I think the last one I did had to be over a year ago, and basically I drink hot cocoa and I talk about whatever I want. The awkward part is, in the time that it has been since the last time I filmed one of these videos, I have gone from being a hot cocoa drinker to a coffee drinker, so this is a little unusual, but also I forgot how hot it is whenever I film videos because I have to turn my fan off so that the camera doesn't pick up on the sound, so let's just say I am very much overheating at the moment, so we'll see how long this video lasts. But basically, for this video, I thought I would do a little life update. I talked about this in one of my last couple of videos, and a couple of you commented saying that you were looking forward to watching it, so I'm glad you said that, because otherwise I probably wouldn't make this video because I wasn't really sure if anybody was actually interested in hearing about my life. But luckily, a couple of you were, so here we are. So yeah, there are a couple of pretty exciting things happening in my life, and I thought I would just tell you about them and share them with you. I obviously have been very sporadic when it comes to my uploading lately. I was like so consistent for many months, and I was feeling so good about my channel. I finally found like a theme as far as my thumbnails and stuff like that, and like I made a new outro screen and a new watermark and everything like that. I was feeling really good about it, and then just a lot of things happened, and so we're going to talk about all of that right now. So there's about 3 things that I want to specifically touch on. 2 of them are kind of like in the same category. So the first one, which is like the 2-in-1, is that I am finally moving. I am so excited. After searching for an apartment for basically 3 years at this point, I have finally found one, and I've signed the lease. It's happening in just a couple of days, actually. I am moving. Actually, by the time you see this video, I may have already moved, so that's very exciting. But yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that is happening in my life. And going along with that, I've always kind of mentioned moving on my channel, and with it, I've kind of talked about a little bit very vaguely about the situation in which I am living right now, but I've always been very vague about it. I know I mentioned recently that the reason I don't go into details, which I know has to be very frustrating to watch, because like, you know, when you're ever watching a YouTuber, did I just refer to myself as a YouTuber? Anyways, you know when you're watching like another YouTuber and they're talking about something and they be really vague about it, and it's just like, it's frustrating. It's like, well, if you're gonna bring it up, like, tell us the details. So I'm aware that that's probably very frustrating, and I mentioned recently that the reason I don't go into details is because it involves other people, and I'm not trying to like air anybody else's dirty laundry out on the internet, but being that I'm finally moving, I do feel a little bit more comfortable kind of talking about the way that I've been living for the past few years. So I'm still not going to go into a lot of detail, but I thought I would give you a little bit of insight into what I've been living in and why I've been so incredibly desperate to move into a place. So I thought the way that I would kind of tell you about it is by telling you what I am excited to do in my new apartment. So I'm going about it in a more creative way than just being completely upfront about it. So something that I am really excited about doing in my new apartment is not living in just one room, because that is how I have been living for the past 3 years. Basically, actually, it's probably the past 1.5 years that I've actually just been living out of my bedroom. So like, all I do is I get up in the morning and I go to the bathroom, and then I go back to my bed, and like I go get food out of the kitchen, but I eat in my room. And my room is pretty tiny, so I don't really have space for like a chair or anything like that, so everything just happens like in my bed, which isn't ideal because my room is just very small, and it's my childhood bedroom. Like, this is the only place I've ever lived. And to give you context of how small it is, one time I remember one of my friends came over, and she brought one of her friends with her, and they walk into my bedroom, and my friend says to her friend, "See, isn't her bedroom the size of a closet?" And I was just standing there like, Okay. No, so just to give you context of like how tiny my bedroom is, even as like tiny children, like the other kids picked up on the fact that I had like a Harry Potter closet under the stairs kind of bedroom. But yeah, I've just been living out of this very small space for the past year and a half specifically, but really like the past 3 years. Another thing that I'm really looking forward to being able to do in my new apartment is to eat at a dining room table and not in my bed. Like, you know, they always say it's really important to like separate like where you sleep from where you do work, or where you like read or do schoolwork or whatever, like anything like that. Like, for the past 3 years, I have not had a separation between where I sleep and where I eat my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, much less a separation between anything else. So I'm really looking forward to being able to eat off of my very own dining room table instead of in my bed, and I think it's going to be really good for my mental health as well. Another thing I'm really looking forward to doing this year in my new place is having a full-size Christmas tree. So being that I've only ever been in this room, I have only ever been able to have like a little 2-foot Christmas tree, and I love to collect Christmas ornaments. Like, Disney puts out these fabulous ornaments every single year, and you guys know I love to collect Disney, so I can only ever put a very select few amount of ornaments on my tree each year because it's only like 2 feet tall. So this year I am so excited. This might actually be the thing I'm most excited for, is putting up a full-size Christmas tree. And I mean, I might go big or go home. Like, there might be a full-size tree in like every room of my apartment. Not gonna lie. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I can't even tell you. I'm also very excited to finally be able to do my wash on the weekends, because as of right now, I've been told that I am not allowed to do it on the weekends. True story. I'm also looking forward to being able to take a shower whenever I want and not having to worry that somebody's going to put wash in so that I run out of hot water. Or just turn the water off altogether so that I have to stand there with shampoo in my hair for several moments, because that is something that happened also. And like I said, these are just like the things that I feel comfortable sharing. Like, they were very much not happy moments at the time, but it's something I can kind of laugh about now. But these are just like the little things that I feel comfortable sharing. There are several other things that have happened over the last few years that I don't know if I'll ever be comfortable sharing on the internet, but like I said, I'm just wanting to give you guys a little bit of an insight into what I've been living in. Now, I know I said the Christmas tree might be the most exciting thing about my new place, but actually this final thing that I'm looking forward to definitely has to be the best one, and I think the thing that is going to work the best to help a little bit more with my mental health, like my anxiety, my depression, and that is that I can finally get pets again. Because when my last cat passed away last April in 2020, I wasn't able to get any more animals, because it was around that point that I started just being able to live out of my bedroom. And so even though I could go and get like a cat or something, I don't think it would be particularly humane to have a cat live out of a very small bedroom with me. Like, it's been pretty horrible just for me, so I would not want a cat to have to live through that as well. So I have not gone out and got myself a new little fur baby because I've been waiting for this moment to finally be able to get an apartment. So that brings us to the next subject, which is like the apartment itself, because I know like I just talked about more like my living situation. Now I want to actually talk about moving, because that is like the exciting part. So I'm sorry if this part of the video was a little bit of a downer, but this next part is going to be very exciting because I'm so excited to move into my new place. And another reason I just want to say that I have never talked about this kind of stuff on my channel before is because I don't want anybody to, one, think that I'm asking for like sympathy or anything like that, because that is not what I'm looking for at all. I don't want anybody to pity me or anything like that, but also another reason is because I never wanted anybody to feel like like, I don't have a whole lot of friends in real life, but I do have a lot of internet friends, and I almost feel like the friends that I know through the internet actually probably care a lot more about me than some of the people I know in real life. So I've never wanted to share this because I also never wanted anybody to be like worried about me. So just know that by the time you see this video, like I said, I may have already moved, or if not, it's only in a couple of days that I will be moving, and I'm going to be out of this situation for good. So yeah, that's another just reason I wanted to mention as to why I've never shared this before, is because I'm not trying to like get sympathy or pity from anybody, and I don't want anybody to like be worried about me. So now that all that's out of the way, let's talk about where I'm actually moving. So like I said, it's taken me like 3 years to finally be able to find a place, because basically just everything kept working against me. Originally, I was looking to move into a very specific area, but I wasn't able to find anything that was affordable in that area, and also that was affordable but also allowed pets, because like so many places around here don't allow pets, and if they do, it's not affordable, because even if the initial apartment is within my budget, the pet fees are like insane around here. So I ended up moving on to like a bit broader of a space to move. So I am now moving farther than I wanted to be, but I am closer to work, so I guess that's better. But I was also, again, struggling for a really long time to find a place that was within my budget and also was pet friendly. And unfortunately, a lot of places, which I don't know if they do this everywhere, like I've never searched for an apartment before, so this is all new to me, but so many places, especially like if you're looking at specific apartment complexes, have this rule that the rent cannot exceed 30% of your income. And like, I work retail, okay? I don't work a lot. Even though I'm an assistant manager, I don't have a particularly high wage, so like there are no places that are less than 50% of my monthly income. So I was really struggling to find a place because I wasn't meeting the criteria. I also don't have any previous rental history, so I just felt like everything was kind of working against me. I actually did twice find places that I could move, but due to my association with another person in my life, they actually prevented me from being able to move to these places that would have been really affordable for me to move into, and also within the area that I wanted to move to. So that's just another roadblock in my road. But finally, like I said, after 3 years, I came across a place on Facebook Marketplace, and like after a while, I kind of came to the realization that like I just have to accept the fact that, one, I'm not going to be in the area that I want to be in. I have to be kind of outside of it, and two, I'm gonna have to just blow a lot of my money. Like, there's no places that are affordable that also allow pets, and like I can't not have a pet. Like, they are such a big part of my life, and I need another fur baby. So I just kind of accepted that, and I ended up finding an apartment complex on Facebook Marketplace that, one, allowed pets, but also, for once in my life, it didn't have a like initial pet fee deposit with a monthly pet fee on top of it. So this place is just a one-time deposit, and then there's no monthly pet rent. So if you even take like the monthly deposit and like split it up by 12 months, it is way less than any of the other places' monthly pet rent, plus those places were also charging an initial deposit. So this is way more affordable when it comes to the pet stuff. It is a little bit more expensive than what I wanted to pay as far as the initial price of the apartment, but it is actually a pretty decently sized apartment. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath. It has a balcony and everything like that, which I knew I wanted either a balcony or a patio because I love to read outside. So that was like pets and a balcony was like my criteria when it came to looking for an apartment. So even though it is a little bit more expensive, and you're probably wondering like, why am I going for a 2-bed, 2-bath? My mom is hopefully going to be staying with me for a little while as well, so she'll be helping me to cover a little bit of the rent for however long that she's staying with me while she kind of sorts out her living situation. So being that I've never rented anything before or done anything like this, I was really nervous going into this whole process, and every time I found a place that I did like, I would always be a little bit weary about it because I just know that I'm very young and people know this. They know I've never rented a place before, so I feel like I could very easily be taken advantage of when it comes to something like this, and I might not even know it because I have never done it before. So I feel like people would be happy to take advantage of that and the fact that I'm a younger person. So I was always really weary whenever I did actually find a place that I liked and when it came to like going to look at it and stuff like that. Also, throughout this process of trying to find an apartment, I went to some very weird places and there were some very weird experiences with people showing places, but that is a story time for another day. But just know this was a very weird process. So that's another thing that made me really weary about this whole process. But a couple of things that really stood out about this place in particular that it just felt right, you know what I mean, was that one, it is in, I guess you would call it the suburbs, but it feels like it's in the country. And if you don't know, I'm from the country. Like, even though I actually live in like the capital region of where I live in like the outskirts of it where there's just a lot of farmland and a lot of cows. Like, sometimes I see people posting things on the internet about how, like, they saw a deer on their way to work, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I see deer every day. Like, this is completely normal. So that was one of the things that I really liked about this place, was that even though it was like really in the capital region and it's like in kind of like the suburbs area, it feels like it's in the country. And the day that we actually went to view the apartment for the first time, we were actually walking to the particular apartment building with the like manager there, and she was telling us how that morning they saw a baby bear cub running through the property, and that to me was just like another sign that like this is meant to be, because it just felt so like being in the country, I guess. I don't know really how to explain it. And like a week later, my mom and I went back to the apartment complex and we were just kind of like driving through the area just to familiarize ourselves with it. And we drive past the apartment building where I would have my apartment, and all of a sudden my mom goes, "Is that a skeleton on their balcony?" And I look up and literally like one of the neighbors, like maybe 2 balconies over from where mine is, they had a full-size adult looking skeleton just like hanging over the side of their balcony. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are my people. I belong here. So that was just another sign that like this is meant to be. I would love to tell you a little bit more about it, but honestly I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want anybody to like find where I live. But let's just say the style of like the outside of all of the buildings is a very specific style of architecture that I love. So that was just another little thing that I was like, this is meant to be. So like I said, I'm going to be moving in about 4 days from when I'm filming this video. It might have already happened by the time you're seeing this. I am documenting like the whole process on my Instagram stories. I have a whole story highlight on there that's going to be dedicated just to home decor. So far on there I've already posted like all of my inspiration photos as far as each room. So if you also love home decor, you should definitely go and follow me on Instagram. It's at tiny_book_dragon, and you should check out my home decor highlight to see like all my inspiration photos. So given the situation that I'm living in now, you can probably guess that I am starting basically from scratch when it comes to my apartment. So I have to get completely new furniture. So it's going to be a lot of money, but I'm very excited to be able to like pick everything myself and just be able to have everything that I want. Of course, obviously I'm going to be bringing all of my books, all of my Disney collection, like all of my little knickknacks, Funko Pops, all of that stuff will be coming with me, but anything that's like any kind of furniture, like even these bookshelves, they're all staying here. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for being able to do all the home decor and stuff like that, because I love that. I love architecture. Like, I look forward to someday being able to design my like dream house, but for now I'm happy to just do the interiors of it. So yeah, I also asked you guys on Twitter if you'd be interested in seeing some non-bookish related content on my channel. So I mentioned things like declutter videos and moving vlogs, or both, and both got the most votes, but so did moving vlogs. That was the second one, and then declutter videos came in last. So I'm actually not sure if I'll be doing declutter videos anymore, being that it's so close to the date of me moving and I haven't really decluttered everything. I'm kind of overwhelmed and I have to work every single day up until the day that I move. So I don't really have a lot of time to declutter everything. Being that I'm not bringing any furniture with me, I do feel like I have a little bit more time to like go through all of my things and just take things over little by little, because obviously none of these things are necessities. Like, I don't need to take them over straight away. So I'm not super concerned about the fact that I've left the decluttering until last minute. I think I'm just gonna like declutter as I go, but I don't really think I'm going to be in the mood to film it at the time. What I do think I will do though is do moving vlogs, because I love to watch moving vlogs. Of course, I've been watching a ton of them since knowing that I was officially going to be moving. So I really look forward to being able to film those. I've never filmed a vlog before that wasn't a reading vlog, so I don't know how moving vlogs are going to go, but I'm going to try my best because I think it should be fun. I think that was all I really had to say as far as moving and stuff like that. So now we're going to move on to the final topic, which for some of you might be the most exciting one. It is for me, and that is that I did actually adopt 2 kittens. So if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you will have already seen them. But basically, to give you a little bit of context, because like I said earlier, I was waiting to adopt a cat until I did actually move so that, you know, they could have free reign of the apartment. So they're not actually living with me at the moment, so don't worry, they're not living out of this teeny tiny little bedroom. They are actually staying at my grandpa's house. They have a whole room to themselves. I go and visit them many times a day, which is another reason that I don't really have time to do decluttering or film videos or even read at the moment, is because I basically get up in the morning, I go and visit them, I go to work, I go and visit them, I go to bed, and then it repeats itself. Like, I'm barely at home anymore these days except when I'm sleeping. And if anyone's wondering why I don't go over and live at my grandpa's house, there's also a reason for that I can't talk about really on the internet, but I just know that people will probably question that, so that's just what I'm gonna say, is that my little kids live over there, but I don't at the moment. But like I said, in a couple of days we're all gonna be living together as a big happy family in my new apartment. But the reason that I didn't, you know, wait until I was moved into the apartment to adopt kittens is because they kind of just happened and then I had to take them. So they're actually barn kittens. There were 4 of them in total. I'll probably insert like a little video over here. So my grandpa he lived on a farm land. He had like 100 acres. He just sold some of them that aren't like attached to the main property, but he's always had barn cats. If you live in the country and you know about barn cats, you know that they get very out of hand very quickly, and sometimes you have barn cats without even wanting them. Like, some people seek out barn cats, like they get cats specifically to handle their rodent problems on the farm. We ended up with barn cats because people kept dropping them off at our house, and they were often being dropped off already pregnant with kittens. So it was constantly, I almost just spilt my coffee, I don't know if you saw that, but it was constantly just getting out of hand. Anyways, one of the cats ended up recently pregnant. So there were 4 kittens. Like I said, I might insert some little videos here. There were 2 boys and 2 girls. So the 2 boys were actually black and white, and the 2 girls are very subtle calicos. One of them was a little more subtle than the other one, but they are technically both calicos, even though they're very like light in their coloring. I had left all 4 of the kittens with their mom until they reached about 10 weeks of age, and then I took all 4 of them because basically what happens is they were born in a garage over there, and this isn't like a finished garage that's like attached to a house where you would keep a car. This is like a garage from the like 1800s that is falling down and holds like a lot of antique things that are definitely ruined at this point, and a lawnmower. So they were born in a garage, and then somehow the mother cat infiltrated my grandpa's basement. And again, this is a very old farmhouse, so this is an unfinished basement. I actually think it might be called a crawl space basement, even though you don't have to crawl in it, but like you definitely have to duck a little bit, and the floor is like made of dirt and the walls are made of rock. So she infiltrated the basement and brought them all down the basement, and like we would go down there and we would visit them, and they were definitely making a mess of the place, but whatever. So I left the 4 kittens with the mom for until they were about 10 weeks old, because they have to be with their mom for a little while because that's what would be best for them. And then when they reached about 10 weeks is when I scooped all 4 of them up and I took them to one of the rooms upstairs, because there was a lot of stuff in the basement that I just don't think kittens should be curious about. Like, you know, even in the barn, in the garage, like even outside, there's a lot of things that kittens can get hurt on, and I knew I wanted to take some of these kittens home with me. I would have taken all 4 of them, but my apartment has a max 2 cat policy, but let me tell you, I cried when I had to let the other 2 go. And let me tell you, it was a very stressful time deciding which 2 I was going to keep and which ones were going to have to go to their own forever family. So I ended up keeping one of the boys and one of the girls. So the little girl that I kept is actually technically going to be my mom's cat, like I said, because my mom is going to be living with me, so is the little kitten. So my mom named her, and she decided to name her Phoebe Buffet. She actually went through quite a few other names before we landed on Phoebe, but yeah, that's her little name, and she's just like a cute little very light colored calico kitten. And the little boy that I decided to keep was the little black and white one, which I named Chomper, and he is super cute. His full name is actually Chomper Fabio Finster, because he does get into a lot of mischief, and I feel like cats that are constantly being yelled at need to have a full name, so that's what I gave him as his full name. And then the other 2 kittens, the other brother and sister, the one little kitten, the little girl, I initially named her Mary, and as per usual, she was also a very mischievous kitten, so she needed a full name, and it ended up being Marilyn. So she, as well as her brother, who I called Dumpling, they both went to a like rescue place because of the whole coronavirus situation. There are like an overabundance of stray cats and kittens because a lot of vets are not taking walk-ins, so it was impossible to get these cats vetted. It took ages before we could finally get them into the vet, but then it was also like within this time really difficult for you know, rescue places and stuff to get these kittens fixed. So there was just like an overabundance of cats and kittens these days. So these 2 ended up going to a little foster mom, and then they actually were lucky enough to be adopted together. So the little calico girl, she would have been adopted basically instantly because people want calico cats so bad. So there were like 4 people lined up for a calico kitten, but luckily they were able to be adopted together, which just warms my heart so much because it hurt me so bad when I had to give them up. Like I said, I would have loved to have been able to keep all 4 of them, but I'm so lucky that I got a little boy and girl, and then the other little brother and sister got to stay together as well. So that just makes me really happy. I hope it warms your heart also. Anyway, so like I said, my little Phoebe and Chomper are currently living at my grandpa's house, but in just a couple of days they're going to come and live with me. To tell you a little bit about them and their personalities, they are both very playful. To be completely frank with you, they aren't the most affectionate kittens in the world, which isn't to say that they're rude or anything like that. Like, they don't hiss or growl or anything. Like, from the very start, because their mom is actually pretty friendly, they were very friendly. Like, they weren't shy like a lot of the other barn cats or kittens usually are. So they don't like hiss or growl or anything like that, but they would just much rather play than like like sleep on our laps or like cuddle with us or anything like that, which could also be because I'm at work 8 hours a day and that's probably when they're sleeping and being calm. So when I'm actually there is when they just want to play and make a ruckus. So yeah, they're not the most affectionate cats in the world, which is a little jarring for me because my last 2 cats were nothing but cuddle bugs. Like my one cat that passed away last year, Munchie, actually comes from the same barn. Like she was a barn kitten that the mother just like left in the middle of a field. Like the other kittens were in the barn and for some reason this mom ditched the cat in the field and we ended up scooping her up and bottle feeding her and everything like that. So she comes from this barn as well, and she was a very, very nasty cat to the rest of the world, but she was my best friend, and like she was a book cat, so anytime, the whole bed could have been free, but if there was one book on the bed, she was sleeping on top of that book, and anytime I was reading, she would want to come sit on my lap and read with me. So it's a little jarring having kittens that don't want to be affectionate with you, but maybe over time they will start to warm up. I think once they are able to get spayed and neutered, they will probably calm down a little bit, which is another thing that I'm kind of having an issue with because my vet keeps telling me that she doesn't like to spay and neuter them until they're 6 months, but everything that I read online tells me that it's best to do it before they're 5 months, and they're 4 months right now. So like I'm trying to work out like what I'm supposed to be doing because what my vet is telling me and all the research that I've been doing is telling me 2 different things. So not really sure what to do. A little bit nervous because they are a boy and a girl and we don't want to be making any more babies. So I mean, if y'all have any suggestions as to what to do, let me know because I'm not really sure right now. But I think they'll be a little bit more calm after they're spayed and neutered. So yeah, I think that is just about all I have to tell you about today. I didn't drink a whole lot of my coffee because like I said, I'm very hot at the moment. Yeah, that is my little life update as for everything that's going on. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not really sure how many people are actually going to be interested in watching this, but hopefully some of you will. So yeah, the next video that you see of mine will hopefully be like a moving vlog or something related to that. Like I said, I'm super excited. I don't know if you can tell, like there are so many things in this video that I'm talking about that I'm just so excited about, like moving and kittens and all of that jazz. Obviously, a lot of things in life come with ups and downs, so if you also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you also might know that my kittens, while they have been to the vet several times at this point, and the vet always says that they look really healthy and everything like that, they have been having some like medical issues. I don't really know if I want to go into detail, but like they have been having some blood happen when they use the restroom, and that is not something that I've ever had happen with any of my pets before, except for with my dog when she was dying. So it has been a very jarring couple of weeks because the vets keep telling us that they seem completely fine and they like have been done tests and stuff like that and everything's coming back negative, and we tried switching their food and we don't know why this is something that still continues to happen every once in a while. And we also recently found a little mass on Phoebe's leg, which we're hoping is just like possibly an abscess or possibly just like a little fatty ball. Like I know my dog used to get those all the time, these little like fat balls on her, and they were very scary at first, but once the vet explained it, they said it was all fine. But I asked y'all for prayers on Twitter because of that. So yeah, everything good in life comes with its downs, so I would appreciate any prayers or positive thoughts for my little babies because I'm really hoping that they're fine and they're going to the vet again in a couple of days, but I still would appreciate if you have any prayers or positive thoughts for them. So yeah, that brings us to the end of this video, I suppose. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!